Good evening and welcome to the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Rapids post-game show. Tyler Raines with you as always, and it's a little bit of a quiet night before the snowstorm here in Grand Falls. Truro Bearcats take a 3-1 win over the Grand Falls Rapids, cracking their losing streak and extending the Rapids losing streak to 6 straight games. I won't lie, it was a bit of a hard game. They played very well. The only turning point in this game really was that penalty that we're going to talk about late into the second period. But first, we're going to start off from how this game started off. The Grand Falls Rapids, they were doing a fantastic job from puck drop to make sure that they were clogging up the neutral zone. They were getting good chances. They were putting shots on net. And overall, they played very solid through that first period, and there were little to no complaints there. Jack Brown, within the first 10 minutes, Jack Brown and Wyatt Countway get into a fight, which sparked a lot of momentum on the Grand Falls Rapids, and he looked at the bench and he got the boys going, and it was fantastic. As soon as that happened, the physicality ramped up. They were laying huge hits. They were really just ramping up the way that they played and getting more time in the offensive zone. First period would end, no score in that time. The second period gets going, and the Rapids get an early power play. Eli Béargent, who the Rapids previously had his rights traded him to Truro at the trade deadline, takes a hooking call, and Grand Falls would be off to the power play, and nothing would materialize on that. A little while later, Paul Slivka takes a roughing call 12 minutes in, but the Rapids are able to kill that off. Absolutely nothing given there. Then the Rapids, a short while later, Reese Allen gets a beautiful opportunity right on the doorstep, pops the puck into the back of the net to break the deadlock. It's 1-0 at Truro, but it wouldn't last too long as Mederick Allard, his first goal at the EMP Seneschal Center since coming into Grand Falls, not his first goal with the Rapids, but his first goal at home with the Rapids, squeaks it under the pads of Jack Milner to make it 1-1 after 2. So this would stay that way for most of the third period as well, until Matthew Martel, he took a penalty for interference, and that was a really tough one to watch. I think there was a little bit of reception from the fans in the crowd. They weren't happy about it. The players weren't happy about that call, but it did happen. And as a result, Ben DeYoung, newly acquired Bearcat, scores to make it 2-1 with just over 5 minutes left to play in the third period. And then the Rapids would then pull Loic Nadeau for the extra attacker, hopefully to get something going. Reese Allen pops one in. It's 3-1 at that point for the Bearcats. So they pull Nadeau again to try and get another one. 2 goals in a minute and a half is not unheard of, and there's a definite possibility that they could do it. They go out there, Jonah Leard streaks in, fires it, and scores his 22nd of the season. The Rapids are now trailing 3-2, but it just isn't enough time to do anything else in that stretch. The Bearcats, with 30 seconds left, shut the Rapids down and end up taking the victory 3-2. And man, when the Rapids played this whole game, it was a fantastic game from start to finish. The moment that Truro took that lead 2-1, you know the sound of a whoopee cushion when it deflates, it kind of makes that noise. That's sort of what that sounded like, and unfortunately that's how it happened, right? It wasn't a bad game played overall. It was very solid, just a rough call on the penalty that resulted in the game-winning goal eventually. And, unfortunately, the Rapids get handed their 22nd loss of the season and another loss at home. So the next game that they have coming up is Wednesday night against the West Kent Steamers. It is going to be a big game going, because the West Kent Steamers are in second place in the Eastling North Division, and they're looking to once again get another dominant win over the Grand Falls Rapids. But the Rapids now are going to be looking to crack their 6-game losing streak and inch closer up the standings. What happens from here on out, it's uncertain. Anything is possible in a world of uncertainty, but this Rapids team could still very well be in contention. They need to start getting a couple of wins, though, and there's no better way to do it than a division rival in the West Kent Steamers. So they got the Steamers on Wednesday, and then followed by the Campbellton Tigers on Friday night at the Campbellton Memorial Civic Center. But shortly after that, on the Thursday night, the Blizzard, they're on the road to face off against the Edmundston Blizzard at the Jean Daig Center in Edmundston, and that's going to prove to be a very tough task as well. Now, what were some of the positive takeaways from this game? Like I said, there were really no huge negatives aside from Truro taking the game off a really rough penalty. They got in. The game started, they were right there from the punch. That opening face-off, they were right with it for basically the entire game. It was just a penalty that ended up costing them the game, and it's not unheard of for them this year, but it's something that they did not play horrible at all throughout the stretch of the game. There were a couple of plays here and there where they got caught, but they got themselves out of it very quickly and generated some turnovers that went the other way and directly into a high danger scoring chance. That's the style of Rapids hockey that we wanted to see. They kept it close for most of the game, and both goaltenders played fantastic. I must say that Loic Nadeau played incredible. Faced a lot of shots, faced a lot of adversity during that game, and stood tall to the challenge. And I got to give props to Truro as well. They took advantage of the opportunities they were given. But overall, it was a fantastic game from start to finish, and it's something that I think this Rapids team should be proud of. This is one of their best games they've played at home over the new year so far, and they have a lot of really good momentum to go into the next few games, especially against the West Kent Steamers on Wednesday night. It is a Wednesday night game, so if you're able to get to the game, then you definitely should, and it's going to be a really, really fun one. Always is when the division rivals are in town, especially West Kent, Edmundston, and Miramichi. They're always the most eventful games, it would seem. So definitely get your tickets for that. Stop off at the box office if you haven't already done so, and do that. Now, the question remains, how does this affect the Rapids' playoff chances? So that's been the big question all day, is what's going to happen with the elimination scenarios. Not sure yet. They haven't come out quite yet. But the unofficial final from today, the Campbellton Tigers beat the Miramichi Timberwolves, so there is no ground gained from Miramichi. The Rapids still sit 21 points out of the playoffs as of this evening. So they end up escaping without surrendering any more points, but they don't gain any points at the same time, so it's a null. But it could be interesting over the next few games how this all goes down, how it all works out, because again, they are behind by a little bit, but it's not unheard of for them to come back and win quite a few games in a row. But that's the thing. That's the marvel of this team, is that you never know what's going to happen in that stretch. So stay tuned. Make sure that you are getting your tickets to the game on Wednesday night. And as for the rest of the month, they've got 6 more home games through the course of the month here. So get your tickets for those. The fans were incredible tonight. We're making a lot of noise, being very proud of their team, and that's what we like to see. So keep doing that going forward, and these guys are going to get a lot more done. That's going to be a lot of good, hard-played hockey. With that being said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you really liked it, don't forget to hit that little bell notification for all future content, and share it with your friends. We will see you back here on Wednesday night for the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Rapids pregame show when the West Kent Steamers roll into town. We'll give you the lowdown on everything from the stats, the standings, and everything in between. But until then, this has been Tyler Rains, and we will see you Wednesday night.